About to get this atmosphere. Let's get this started, family. Give me 1 second. Let's get started. We always got to set the atmosphere. Let's get this teaching going on. Get into your meditation zone. They tell you to pray, but do you know how to meditate? So we're going to meditate. We're going to get into our Tai Chi. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. I tell you, this is no religion. Religion is man-made. We operate on positive vibrations. We respect all the laws and the prophets. I'm going to show you how to pray to the Saraswati, to speak things into existence. Let's dig. Activate that hippocampus. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. Sit in postulate position. Peace, 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 positive vibrations. Clear your mind. Breathe in through your nose, out through the mouth. Positive vibrations. That's that alchemy. You are the gold. We change our chemical makeup. Peace, 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 peace. We got 2 more minutes. Let's dig. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Positive vibrations. Positive vibrations. Peace, 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 peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, 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 peace. All right, all right, all right. We got them positive vibrations in the atmosphere. We're going to get into this teaching. But let me show you how to have the camera, my friend. Just pull it up a little closer, okay? Yep, just like that. Let me see. Yep. Yep, that'll work. Just keep it like that. All right, all right. How's everybody doing? We're going to get into this teaching, man, because we use this social media to enlighten our brothers and sisters, not to spread negativity. And I always forewarn my people, what I teach, this is not a religion. I can care less about your religion. Religion is man-made. Spirituality is from the earth. And we connect to the earth because we are on positive vibrations. Don't forget that. Hold on. Yeah, come on. You good. You good. You good. You good. You good. Yeah, you good. Okay. But we operate on positive vibrations, my brothers and sisters of the Most High. So today I'm just going to illuminate some things that we may thought we knew, but we don't study. I tell my brothers and sisters, under that word believe is a word called belie. And you must understand what words mean and what context mean. You must understand the etymology of words, where words come from. You must understand Greek. You must understand Latin. Because this Bible that we read is an interpretation. An interpretation. So it's written so many times. So we have to understand certain things. If your preacher just reading the King James Version Bible, that's Greek and Latin. So let's get into our prayer. And I want you to get a scripture while I get into this prayer. Get Acts chapter 24 and 5 in your head. Because see, we're going to teach. And when you go back to wherever you go worship, you challenge. Because I'm an official of this word. I'm a teacher. I'm a minister of all law. I know who I am. Don't you know it's an oral contract? I am not no Negro. I am a Hebrew Moor. Flat out. I don't care who you are. You can proclaim whatever you are. I know who I am. And that's what's important. Brothers and sisters arguing over who someone else is and don't even know who you are. I still hear brothers and sisters call themselves, oh, I'm a Christian. Or what's up, my Negro? It's like, that is crazy. We're not children anymore. So let's jump into this teaching. Let's jump into this prayer. Because I always, like I said, I always have to set the prayer and set things in the atmosphere. And I always have to give homage to all my people. But first, like I tell you, yes, I am a Moor. And if I wouldn't be a Moor, I wouldn't tell you. And in this Moor science, in the Temple of America, we have our cards. We are a nation. But listen who we are. This is your national and identification card for the Moor Science Temple of America and birthright for the Moorish America. We honor all divine prophets. Listen to me, brothers and sisters, when you hear me speak. When I speak, I give clarity. Because if any man trying to throw their religion down your throat, I'm stepping on their neck. I don't care if you're some Christian, some Muslim. It doesn't matter. Because I study all law. We must remember this. I hear brothers telling Christians, well, you printed some white man, and then I read your papers, the Nation of Islam, Act 12, it says that your prophet is Farah Muhammad in the 1930s, the prophet for the Christians and the Mihads. Come on, man. I tell you, we must teach the truth. But the Moors, what we teach, we honor all the divine prophets. We honor Confucius, Muhammad, Yeshua, Buddha. May the blessings of God, our Father, Allah, which is all law. Everyone respect the Hebrew God, the Logos. I'm not even going on that today. I give that the Brotherhood of the East. I teach that to my brothers, to all my Muslim brothers, my Imam brothers that get things twisted. But may the blessings of all law, may the blessings of Yahweh be upon you that carry this card. I do hereby declare that you are a Muslim. I didn't say no Muslim. I ain't talking about no Arabism, my brothers and sisters. I'm a Moor. I'm not no Christian. I'm not no Muslim. I'm a Moor. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. And I ain't afraid to say it to you. And I ain't afraid to say it to you. People take so many derogatory names that was given to them and don't even do their history. Well, I'm telling you, I'm not nobody just sitting up here reading some books. I study. I'm an educator. I teach this. I can care less. So let's get into this prayer. This is school. Get your papers and your pencils. It's a prayer for positivity. And it goes, I pray that I think peace, that I speak peace, and that I am peace. I pray that I think truth, that I speak truth, and that I am truth. I pray that I think love, speak love, and that I am love. I pray everything that I attract, I pray everything that you attract carries high, harmonious vibrations and intentions. May the light within me, may the light within you serve as a beacon for those that need it. Amen. Amen Ra. Aya Asha Aya. Shalom Malachim. Ashe. 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 We speak things into existence. Read Deuteronomy 27:15. Ask me questions. If you unsure about a text, we can have Q&As all day. I love to answer questions. That's what a teacher does. He answers questions. I'm not no overseer when I'm telling you it's my way. No, we go over text. We interpret the text. This is a science. Cross-reference with Nehemiah 5:13. So when I say Ashe, my brothers and sisters, when I say Ashe, you have to know your culture. And it's a Yoruba word, Y-O-U-R, R-U-B-A. It's an African word, meaning power, command, authority, the ability to make whatever one says happen. That's why in the biblical text, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was made flesh. See, that's metaphysical, baby. That's esoteric. That's esoteric, not exoteric. But you speak things into existence. That's those positive vibrations that we talk about. That's when that pendulum, you want that pendulum to be on a certain direction. Because there are certain things that we can control, my brothers and sisters. But as so it be, and so it is. And when I speak in Hebrew, when I say Shalom Alachim, that means peace be upon you, and you respond back. Alachim Shalom, meaning until you peace, my brother, or until you peace, my sister. My Hebrew-ist more sister. Hebrew-ist, yeah, that's the word. That's the word. See, we don't even know our own language. Hebrew-ist, that's a Hebrew woman. But you are a more. When I say Aya Asha Aya, that means I will be what I will to be. Isn't that powerful, my brothers and sisters of the Most High? Aya Asha Aya, I will be what I will to be. You will be what you will to be. Listen to that. You will be what you will to be. That's action. That's manifestation. That's not just we're praying and if it's for me, it's for me. That ain't what that's about, my brothers and sisters. This is a living word. Cross-reference that with Exodus chapter 3 and 14. This is power. And you letting people strip you from your spirituality. I'm telling you. They telling you that your rituals is frowned upon. Sad. I keep telling you, it's a type. What type? What type? What type? What type? Don't get caught up in linguistic apartheid. Don't get caught up in European pseudo-academia. They telling you that the root of all evil is money. Cross-reference that with Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. See, most people be like, what scripture you talking about? I want you to read it for yourself. Get your papers and your pencils, family. Ecclesiastes 10 and 19. I'll read it for you real fast. Because see, this ain't like what I tell my brothers and sisters, man. When I do any teaching, when I do lectures on campuses and things, I tell most people, say, hey, you're going to be every question that you probably think you have. I had those when I was a babe in my spirituality because it's a journey. And so I know you should have a lot of questions. If you don't have a lot of questions, that's sad. That's what a teacher wants you to ask questions. So let's get into this Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. I want you to hear this. But I always challenge you to read it yourself because I say you always should research the researcher. Never listen to me. You hear the words out of my mouth and you research those words to see if I'm standing valid on what I say, to see if I'm doing my homework, because you should be doing yours as well. So let's dig, family. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 19, and it reads, a feast is made for laughter, and wine makes merry. Woo! But watch this. But money answers all. And then here you go, somebody telling you from their pseudo perspective that's something wrong with money. I say money is nothing. It's the agent, the agent, the agent, the agent, the agent, the agent. Just like alcohol is no good in the bottle until it gets into that temple. And then whatever temple it gets in, something else can happen. Come on, family. It's the agent, the agent. Money is good when it's in the right hands of the righteous, because we can do good things. We help. We teach. We spread truth. And we tell people to read these scriptures. That's what I do. I challenge the people to read these scriptures, because they're going around, because brothers and sisters going around calling themselves a word. And I say, brothers and sisters, you got to show me in the text where the Most High said that he was a Christian. You got to show me. I mean, because see, I'm a minister of this word. I interpret this text. See? And so I'm challenging brothers and sisters, like, look, come on. I'm going to show you what they were. But let's get into these words that you should know, so you don't get caught up in spookism. Get your papers and your pistol and your pencils. Let me get me a little bit of my greens. I make my own little drinks. I make them out of avocado, celery, a lot of greens, turmeric, a whole bunch of herbs and things. But that's a whole nother story. All right, brothers and sisters. The first word we're going to touch on is occult. It's Latin. What it means to hide, to conceal, secrete, cover up. That's what's happening to most of the brothers and sisters. They're concealing things on you. They're not telling you what the signs and symbols really mean. When I interpret, they're not telling you what the signs and symbols really mean. They're not telling you, I give you the 32 to 33 degrees in the temples. That's all. That's why most European lodges, they wear their fez and things in Palestine. We got a higher place to go. It's an esoteric teaching. And this is not for one person to have. This is to share amongst our people, for we can build. That's what this is about. So, Apocrypha. Apocrypha. People are like, what's Apocrypha? Watch this. You got to know, this is the Apocrypha. Ask your pastor. It's a Greek word. It means to hide away. It's Latin as well. This is the Apocrypha of the Old Testament. It tells a lot of things what really happening that goes on in the text. That's why I say you have to be a student of this word, because there are history books of this text. And if you follow my page, people say, well, they only heard of the Messiah when he was 12 and then 30 to 33. I said, brothers and sisters, it's 18 missing years. I have the books. So, esoteric is Greek. It means the inner, the eso, the exoteric, or the exoskeleton, understood by the general public. Like when an uninitiated see the G in the compass and the square, the first thing they is say God. And I say, brother, that means gnosis, knowledge of spiritual mysteries. It means a plethora of things. So when I say gnosis, it can mean genetics. It can mean knowledge. It's a plethora of things, because we measure things under the compass and the square. I'm telling you, man, this is a science. And all philosophers, all scholars know about the Hebrew God, know and understand the pantheon of gods as the Logos. And people try to make it seem like things are fake. People try to act like there's not first century writers. See, I don't talk about it. I use their books. When I say scholarship, it's a way to do things. It's first century scholars, writers called Tacticus, that wrote. Research this. I'm just going to give you a little tittle, but let's get back to the rest of this teaching. Theosophy. Any of a number of philosophies maintaining that a knowledge of Yahweh may be achieved through spiritual ecstasy. That's that personal connection, direct intuition, or special individual relationship, because he wants or she wants, or that spirit within. Follow me. We don't put a jurisdiction on that spirit, because then we are limited. But it's that personal relationship with your higher self. This is a science, my brothers and sisters. We're not talking about nothing that's not within yourself. 360 is the sum of material knowledge, but 720 is the total sum of spiritual and material. Walk with me. That's another lecture, but I always have to drop little nuggets so you can have things in your head to ponder upon. So it's words like theosophist. When I say I am a theosophist, Sufi, Moor, 99th primitive right. This is a science. We can break things down and put it back together, and then show my brother, show my sister how to break themselves down and put themselves back together. That's why when you hear me speaking in the metaphysical, when I use words and when I use phrases like this, I say, my brothers and sisters, we need a flush and fill, and we need to reboot our hard drive. So when I say we need a flush and fill, it's meaning we need to let out all those things that we've been put in our physical temple and give it a chance to reheal. And then we don't build back, we don't put the same rubble back in ourselves. Because see, that's what the Most High was doing when he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He was changing his chemical makeup. When you look at the fasting Buddha, their Messiah, look at the fasting Buddha. He wasn't sick. He was changing the chemical makeup. He was getting all the impurities out. And when I say we have to reboot our hard drive, and when I say that in the context of our physical temple, our hippocampus is eliminate all that false information that's been embedded, or like I say, traditionally indoctrinated in our brains. And the scripture says Ephesians chapter 4:4, where it says we shouldn't be swayed back and forth like ships or like the sails in the wind. We should know. Come on, man. But gnosis, knowledge of spiritual mysteries. It's a noun. The origin is Greek. Gnosis, knowledge. Latin, occultare, secret, conceal, based on seclare, or to hide. It's an adjective. And the noun from occult, covered up from. See, we have to know these things, my brothers and sisters. We have to know we have to get out of this religious dogma and get into this science where we can heal within. And if we don't want to touch these particular topics, shame on you, brothers and sisters. I was just debating with some so-called preachers of the gospel, and the first thing they say, and we having a discussion, I said, how can you eliminate the woman? How can you just say man, man, man? Show me where that's biblical, my brothers and sisters. I'm telling you, without the woman, there's no earth. Without the seed, there's nothing. I'm sorry. If the firstborn of everything is the woman, you cannot deny that birth cycle, my brothers and sisters. So let's get into this text. I'm going to give you Acts chapter 24:5. When certain religious people telling you that you are a Christian and you won't even ask a question like, okay, can you show me that in the biblical text? Can you give me some history on why should I be calling myself this? Do you understand that certain words were given to you by the person that was indoctrinating you, laughing at you, calling you a cretin? You got to look up the history of the word. Christian is not English, my brothers and sisters. It's still a Greek word. It's still a Greek word. I'm sorry. I reveal all law. I'm not on anybody's side. Christian, the root of Christian is cretin. In the medical dialect, it's somebody maimed or things. And then the other dialect is stupid, because the Christians were following in that manifestation Serapis Christos, the Greek god, that Alexander the Greek forced to make a statue or erect himself in Egypt. It's just what it is, family. Can't be mad at anyone. You saying you something, if that's who you say you are, fine. But that's not what the scripture says. I'm gonna show you. And read it for yourself. Research it. They wasn't Christians. If you do the research, he said you don't follow the Nicolaitans. following Nicholas. Do that. What's up, Nick? Not talk about my partner, Nick. I talk about you, Nick. I'm talking about Saint Nick. That's what I'm talking about. Do your simple research. So I challenge you. See, certain religious people, they don't want to do the research because they're religiously blind. They're following Saint Nicholas. So get that Acts chapter 24 and 5. I'm going to read these scriptures to you. Then I want you to research this. Listen to this. Acts chapter 24 and 5. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews, but it's really the Hebrews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. Hey, do your homework, family. Please do your homework. And hey, they ain't call themselves no Christians, family. I promise you this. But if you want to carry that title, just like derogatory names, just like Negro and B and all that, women, that's on you. That's on you. Let me read that again for you. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow and a mover of sedition among all the Jews, which are Hebrews, because there never was a J in the Hebrew alphabet. Do some research throughout the world. And a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. Of the Nazarenes. I'm telling you. That's Paul talking about that doctrine of who? The Christ that you love. KRST. I'll give you the history. Like I said, I'm not here for friends and likes. I can care less. I know who I am. Because see, people thinking it's going to be some end of the world that way. No, we fighting a spiritual battle. We fighting a spiritual battle. And if you want to do it and you still going to that stuff, just listening and say, and I'm giving you the truth and you steady denying it, you're not denying me. So I can care less. But let me get this to you one more time. Because see, this is powerful stuff, family. Acts 24 and 5. And then if you got preachers in your family, people that ask them, see that they're going to get mad. They're not going to even answer. They're going to be like, they're not going to explain it, but tell them why not. Because see, we can do this all day. My family will tell you, I love what I do. When I do lectures, I love it. When it be packed, it don't be no this color in there. And everyone have pencils and papers. And they say, man, you don't have a place where it's packed. I said, man, no. Most people like religion. And that's just what it is. And this book is no religion. People use it to separate themselves. The ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. The ringleader of the sect of Nazarenes. Come on, man. Y'all better get this right. Get it right. Stop lying to the people. Stop lying to the people. I tell you what, man. So we're going to talk about this creation date a little bit. And then we're going to get into, and I told you I'm always going to give my brother a little history on the workman tools of the craftsman tools. I'm going to touch on the 7 Kemetic principles, connotated, Hermetic principles. I destroy all the encyclopedias. I did a whole lecture on the college campuses with the encyclopedias when they saying the greatest things were Plato, Socrates, and Aristotle. I destroyed it. All connotated. And they tell you that they didn't, most of them went to Egypt for years and studied. I'm telling you, man. I went to the universities. I'm not, like I said, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm not just blowing smoke up nobody's rear end. I had to go challenge this and prove my point with the word, what's written. I'm not on no street corner challenging you see dressed up with a whole bunch of people challenging, yelling at different nationalities, telling them who they are. I can care less who someone is. I know who I am. That's the sin, not knowing who you are. That's the problem. I'm not out here arguing with nobody with people that converse and that believe like me. I know plenty of converted Jews and Catholics that speak just like me on the college campus. I show you them on film. I have plenty of Jewish European friends, and they speak the truth. They've been knowing the truth for years. Know all the Kemetic principles. They study with me, and I laugh. I'll be laughing at brothers and sisters, man. So I don't get caught up and don't get this twisted. Don't get this twisted. But the creation date that the world is using was given, get your papers and your pencils, by James Ussher of the Anglican Church in 4000 BC. It's wrong, fellas. It's just wrong. This scholarship. We got that Exodus date. It didn't happen like that. We got to remember in Zacharias, in the book of Luke 1:19 stated that he stood in the presence of the Most High. In verse 16 and 24. And the same Gabriel gave Daniel the order that the Gentile nations will rule the world. In the book of Daniel chapter 7, verse 1 and 7. The angel Gabriel was ordered by the Most High to make Daniel to understand the vision concerning the future rulership of the planets. Right? Come on, family. We got to get this text right. We finna dig. The vision is this. In verse 4, the lion represents ancient Babylon, which rulership began in 609 BC. The next beast is represented as a bear, which is the Medo-Persian Empire, which ruled the earth in 539 BC. The next beast in verse 6, my brothers and sisters, is the leopard, which is the Greek Empire. And under Alexander the Greek, they say the Great, which ruled the world in 323 BC. And the last beast in verse 7 is the Roman Empire, which came on the scene in 165 BC. See, my brothers and sisters, I'm going to teach you. Because, see, somebody telling you in the scriptures, talk about getting you all in spookism, talk about some mark of the beast, 666, getting you all caught up in spookism. Man, in the text is plenty beasts he's talking about. And that 666 is just the chemical makeup of man. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. That's high science. That's high science, man. That's high science. The dates listed above are factual, as attested to by the carbon dating. Carbon dating. I know we know what carbon dating is, don't we, family? Come on. See, I don't get in spookism, man. I leave that to the preachers. The carbon dating utilized by the modern historians, so as not to prolong the time, it has been proven that Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonians in 587 BC. And if you add the numbers of the years, it's 393 years that the Judean kings ruled over Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. You will arrive at the date for the last year that Solomon ruled in Jerusalem, and the first year of his reign in 102 and 120 BC. And the fourth year of his rulership would be 1016 BC. I mean, that's why I said this is science, man. And what do you tell your kids? Don't you be lying. Tell the truth. And you like to be lied to. And you don't even question it. Sad. I see why the baby's messed up. I see it. Now all you have to do is add 480 years to 1016 BC, and you arrive at the correct Exodus dates for the Israelites leaving Egypt. In 1 Kings 6 and 1, it says that the children of Israel came out of Egypt in the 480th year, in the 4th year of Solomon's rule. So the first thing that we have to do is back into the date that Solomon began to rule and subtract out 4 years of his rulership. Yeah. Oh, and that's just, if it keep going, I'm gonna keep punching it back in, man. It's all good. That's technology. But after we have arrived at the correct Exodus date, we can proceed to identify the real Pharaoh of the Exodus. Thutmose the first. Notice the last name, Thutmose. This is the last name that was given to the man who led Israel out of Egypt. I'm going to teach. This book will that I'm lecturing on today. And I'm going to show you the name of everything because I want you to have the knowledge, the sources, because in a minute it's going to be gone. And you're going to have to come to my library. But we got to rewrite this church history according to the artifacts that emerged from the earth. You know what I'm saying? We have to teach this truth. So let's get into, I got to get into this science, and I'm going to show you something, and then we're going to be done. And we're going to jump into that Kemetic principle, because see, this ain't church. You be in church for 2-3 hours, and you come out there, and then when I ask my people, what did the pastor preach and teach? They don't know. So this is for my brothers and sisters that, try to separate things and act like the Logos wasn't known. The YHWH wasn't known in history. So we must clear things up. And I challenge anybody to do the research. Because see, when people say they're Egyptologists and all this, so we're going to talk about that. Egyptologists. Ask the question, where is the proof of the existence of the king of Israel? And I heard a lot of my brothers, Hotep brothers, and that's fine. But I say, brothers, you got the pantheon of gods. I gave a lecture when I was in Flint about the 2 Hebrew pharaohs in Egypt, Sithos and Sabakos. Sethos and Sabakos. There were 2 Hebrew pharaohs in Egypt. Yeah, of course. The king of Judah. Never with the J in the Hebrew alphabet, so it was the king of Yehuda. YHWH. The Egyptologists. They have the Hebrew Israelites. They have the right to ask. But I'm going to show you something. Everybody has the right to ask a question if you say you know something. You should never be mad when somebody asks a question. I love questions. So if somebody asks to show them proof outside of the Bible concerning Israel, if YHWH exists in the scriptures, then there should be some proof in the record of the surrounding nations concerning the YHWH, the pantheon. The same with the Israelites. Some nations in their official record should have a written account of these people. And you so-called teachers of the gospel should be able to show it, right? Of course. So when I tell brothers and sisters, you have to stop being offended. Stop trying to use reverse scriptology on people. And I'm paraphrasing. I think it's Psalms 105 or Psalms 115. When a goofball preacher say, "You don't touch my anointed," trying to say that about himself. It's not even about you, preacher. Not even about you. And they use that on y'all. Sad. But you got to stop being offended every time someone disagrees with you and your so-called biblical philosophy. If you know that you are talking the truth, simply show them. Simply show. I challenge, like I say, I know so-called preachers, I'm friends with, and when we talk on scripture and I show them text, we can't be friends. It's that serious with me. This is my life, man. I operate on vibrations because there's no reason. A man that's operating on his own understanding, that's a fool. The scripture should correct you. You can be sincerely wrong, but you should be willing to be corrected with the word from your brother, from love. And if you ain't willing to be corrected from love, I can't deal with you. So I'm about to give you some stuff, a little bit of history and proof where you can look. And you can find the existence of the Hebrew Israelites of the Bible and the record of YHWH of Israel. See, the problem that the archaeologists and the atheists have concerning the existence of Israel and YHWH. See, the world is using a creation date set by the Archbishop, excuse me, Usher of England. The entire planet history has been dated incorrectly, my brothers and sisters. And this is the reason why the archaeologists cannot find proof of the Israelites. of the Bible in the layers of the earth that they are searching in. The Archbishop Usher, he couldn't get the correct creation date because he didn't know the secret of the messenger, the angel Gabriel. The Israelites of the Bible came out of Egypt in the year 1496 BC during the reign of Thutmose I, who ruled from 1503 BC to 1493 BC. These are the facts. These are the facts. I don't care if nobody dressed up like an Egyptian. I don't care what they saying. So, I don't care. I don't care if nobody walk around with a whole bunch of unks. That don't mean nothing. There's no knowledge there. Just because somebody have a fez on or a crown, it don't mean nothing. This is a science. But the church was started in the wilderness. It was the copper color, black in the beginning. It's just what the text is. And it still is today. And we're going to investigate these churches, the so-called black churches that John wrote letters to in the book of Revelations. I'm telling you, family, it's in there. I'm going to use two keys: archaeology and the writings of historians. The writings of historians. So we're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about something. This is going to be a good conversation. Y'all ready? I'm going to show you a picture where I'm going to talk about it first. I'm going to talk about the black obelisk of Shalmaneser. Get your pens. Shalmaneser. Found in ancient Assyrian. And the image is located in the British Museum in England. It's the image of King Jehu or Yehu, king of Yehuda. You can cross-reference that in 2 Kings chapter 9 verse 13. Who was he? The son of King Jehoshaphat or Jehoshaphat. This is the first authentic image of any king of kings of Yehuda, and the only reason that I'm going to use this because it's off the official monument of the kingdom of Assyria, and it's in black and white. But I'll have to try to get a better picture because these are things that's in the museum, and I tell people you're looking for the wrong things because a lot of the artifacts are in the museum. I have, like I say, the Vikings. If you look at a lot of my books I get from the museums, the Vikings were copper color. When I show you in Egypt that they got 4 big statues in Spain of Moors, Saint Mark, I'll show you. But the Egyptologists want the Hebrew Israelites to produce the graves and the bones of the kings of Yehuda, the graves of the kings of Judah and the Israel in Jerusalem. You got to see Acts chapter 2 and 29. Peter said that David's grave was there in Jerusalem in 29 AD, right? Right? It just didn't get up and move away, family. I'm telling you, that's the problem. The reason we don't have access to the graves of kings of Yehuda and Israel is because the Israelis won't allow it. I mean, that's facts. So I'm going to give you this science for you can stand on something, for you can ask and you can challenge a person anytime when they act like they don't know because the person that play dumb. You see? So watch this science. It's an official capsule from the days of the Assyrian, and I'm going to show you a picture. This is another thing that's in the museums of King Sennacherib, in which he describes how he caged King Hezekiah. You can read this in 2 Kings 16 and 20, and took captive Hezekiah's daughters, male and female musicians. So we only using the royal documents from the nation surrounding Israel and Yehuda to prove that the Israel and her kings were in fact real. So I'm gonna show you a little picture of the prism in 689 BC that was in the museum. Well, it's in the museum right now. I tell you, when I do my museum tour, I'm gonna show you everything, man. You're gonna be tripping. So I'm going to show you Karnak inscription. I'm going to show you an inscription. And this is what I want you to read. I want you to pull this up. I'm going to tell you how to spell it. Karnak inscription. And we finna eliminate spookism. Watch this. Watch this. Let me get me some libations. Let me get me some water. Cause see, we in school, man. We ain't in no rush. I ain't saying the Bible says this. We don't have to do that, man. We don't have to lie to the people. This is no religion. This spirituality. This power of the vibrations. Ashe. So, Karnak inscription. I'm going to show you the inscriptions. That's the Egyptian letters, the hieroglyphics, the metaneter, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is in Hebrew. YHWH. Oh, I'll get a little closer for you. Hold on, my phone tripping. Hold on, let me make sure my phone plugged up. So we don't get disconnected. Okay, so let me show you again for all my brothers and sisters. You got your friends, they dress up, like Egyptians. It's cool. I love the attire because we all family. And that's what we got to understand. But it is a pantheon. So let me show you again, then I'm going to read it. And then and tomorrow I'll probably go over the metaneter for you and show you how to read hieroglyphics. When people be saying they know what the stuff mean, just like when people be getting Chinese tattoos on their body. And I say, man, you don't even know what it means. Because you don't know how to read it. So let me tell you what that means. Using the ancient Egyptian alphabet, we can translate this. The monument of Pharaoh, the two paddle-like symbols, represents the Y. You see that? The two paddle-like symbols represents the Y. Oh yeah. In ancient Egypt, the H is the symbol that looks like a sideways G. You see it? You see it? Come on, man. We teach here, baby. And the other H is the rope-like image, and the bird symbol is the Y. Come on, man. Checkmate. Add the letters together and you get YHWH. Unmistakable. Brothers, this Pharaoh mentions YHWH on his monument. That's why when I say, baby, it's a pantheon of gods. But y'all don't get it. It actually reads the land of Shau of YHWH. And if you are a true Egyptologist, you should be able to read these ancient Egyptian symbols using the Egyptians' ancient alphabet, right? Right? But it's another point to be made here. And this proves that if you have the alphabet of a civilization, my brothers and sisters, that you can go backwards in time and read their artifacts and manuscripts. You don't have to attend some government-sponsored institution to do this. I teach this. And it's just what it is. I'll show you how to read the Hebrew and ancient Egypt, the Egyptian writing. It's a science. It's something that you have to be into. That's just what it is. And it's something that I'm into. I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone. The oldest surviving image of Abraham in the National Museum, Damascus, Syria, Dura Euripus, in the synagogue, 303 BC. This image is at least 2,300 years old. And you can research, cross-reference, you can research everything that I say. It don't make me no difference. This is science, man. This is science. This is science. This is science. We don't get into spookism, man. I don't care what color you are, black, white, orange, purple, gray. If you talking false doctrine, I'm stepping on your neck every time I see you. Every time. So let's get into this Let's get into this and we done. I got some things I need to do. So let's get into this little bit of teaching, because I always promise my family. Let me take my crown off. I hate not speaking with my crown on, because that's just something that I'm in my spirit. I always have to have my crown on, so I'm wiping my head, so bear with me. So my brothers and sisters, I'm going to give you a little history. When people when you hear words and they say they adapt and they this and that, they're nobles and they don't want to share it with you, shame on them. Well, I'm telling you, I'm going to share it with you because this is who I am. And I pray to no man. I operate 720. And when the moment that my brothers and sisters want to wake up and rise up and know the text, that's the moment that we're going to rise up and take over in our rightful place. Brothers and sisters. It has nothing to do with your color. It has what to do with your understanding. That's what I'm trying to tell you. This is a spiritual battle. Remember this. And if anybody tell you you're not spiritual, shame. That religious stuff, I'm not here to debate no religion. So let's get into this. I'm going to talk about these workman tools. Listen to me, because I told you, brothers and sisters, when you hear about masonry and you hear people disrespecting it, it's because they're talking from a westernized pseudo perspective. This science comes from Egypt. This science is more science. This is high science. This is metaphysics. I teach this. I'm telling you, family, the Sufi is knowledge, the higher self, alchemy, your chakras. This is all science. And then the civic, the part understanding who you are. This is science. So when I'm talking about constructing the ancient and the most exalted, the grand, when I say the Kaaba of Allah or the Kabbalah, you can't be scared of things. When I talk about when you see the Baphomet, and I tell you it's written Kabbalistically. It's the Temple of David. If you follow my page, I teach on these things. When your preacher tell you some about some Lucifer in the Bible, that's no spooky. That's the Most High. He's the morning star. This is high science. This is high science. No, Lucifer ain't no devil. I promise you that, my brothers and sisters. There's no Lucifer in that Lucifer that your preacher telling in the Bible. That's the Most High. He's the morning star. Research this. You can't be afraid. This is your spirituality people playing with. This is your life. And brothers will die and kill each other over a football game. In that biblical text, Lucifer, that's the Most High Yah. He's the morning star. Don't you know this? Lucifer, it ain't no Lucifer. Come on. The Baphomet, that's written Kabbalistically. Come on, man. So, I'm going to tell you about these workman tools. In our craft, we use the square to measure all our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw the circle. Did you hear me? To draw the circle around our passions and desires to keep them in bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home truth and pound it until it is a part of every day. We use the plane to smooth the rough and the uneven surface of the joint and block and board that go to build the temple. We stand on truth. The chisel, the line, the plummet, and the saw, all those craftsman tools have their uses in the workshop of the mind, of the hippocampus, of the cherubim. And then this ladder with its trinity of steps. Listen to me. With its trinity of steps, faith, hope, love. On it, we climb up to the dome of purity in life. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, man. This is good stuff. Hold on. I'm sorry. I got to grab something. I want to put that right here. Oh, yeah, family. And on the 12-step ladder, on that 12-step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of the perfected man, of the perfected woman. I'm taking my time. See, we just got to teach the truth, man, and let the chips fall where they may be. So I'm going to give you a little history on the 7 Kemetic principles. The 7 Kemetic principles. Some people talk about the Kabbalah. Yeah, I have all that because things, I got to tell you, are connotated. This is the Kabbalah when they talk about the 7 Kemetic principles, but they call it the Hermetic philosophy of ancient Egypt and Greece. But see how they try to throw themselves in there? Ain't no Egypt and Greece. It's the from Egypt. So let's dig with the 7 Kemetic principles. We're just going to touch on it a little bit. When I say this is a science. Remember what I say, what theosophy is. So the principle of truth are 7. I think we'll be going back to that circle in that 7. We're going back to that secret brotherhood of the East. The principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the master key, before whose touch all the doors of the temple they fly open. The 7 Kemetic principles upon which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based on is follows as, my brothers and sisters: the principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender. I'm going to just touch on them just a tittle, and then we're going to be out of here. But the all is mind. The all is mind. The universe is mental. When I say everybody know the logos and everybody respect the YHWH, and I can go on and on, but this is some of our Moorish literature. When I tell brothers, no Wajir Ali didn't write this, he gathered and compiled. But when I tell brothers and sisters that this Moorish science is not no Muslim, brothers that's Muslim, so be it. But I tell you where it come from. But in our book, we talking about Jesus, which is Yahweh or Yahshua, received the mystic name and number and passed the first brotherhood test. The master took down from the wall a scroll on which was written down the number and name of every attribute, character, and he said, that's that flying scroll, that flying roll. Man, y'all, I gotta say this because I gotta go there. I gotta go here because I love clowning, and I love the gospel, man, when it's interpreted the right way. I love all the books. I love the Quran. I read them all with the Q and the K. But when a Muslim brother put on on my page, and I said, if you put something on my page about some scripture, what some man said, and you ain't research it and question it, you're going to look like a fool. So anyway, he quoted Zechariah 5 and talk about that's some spaceship. I almost spit my pop out, not my pop, but my juice everywhere. That's a flying roll. That's a written word. Have nothing to do with no spaceships. People are always trying to get you caught up in spookism like they so heavy. That's sad, man. Ain't about no spaceship. But the circle is the symbol of the perfect man, and the 7 is the number of the perfect man. The logos is the perfect word, that which creates, that which destroys, and that which saves. Listen to 3. The Hebrew master is the logos of the Holy One, the circle of the human race, the 7 of time. Come on, man. I'll be giving you biblical history. I give you all that. You got to know this, man. But the all is mind. The universe is mental. The principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality, underlining all the outward manifestations and the appearances, which we know under the term of the material universe, phenomena of life, that matter, that energy. And in short, brothers and sisters, all that is apparent to our material sense is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefiable, but which may be considered and thought of as an universal, an infinite, a living mind. Walk with me, because we're talking this metaphysically. But it also explains that the all phenomenal world or the universe is simply a mental creation of the all. Come on. When I say all law, come on, man. When I say YHWH, you stand it up, that's man. But it's subject to the laws of the created things, and that the universe as a whole and in its parts or units has its existence in the mind of the all, in which mind is so beautiful, man, this mind that we live and move and have our being. This principle, by establishing the mental nature of the universe, is easily explains all of the varied mental and the psychic phenomena that occupy such a large portion of people's thought process. Oh, this is a miracle. It's this and all that, you know? But what we have to understand, brothers and sisters, we got to understand this great Kemetic principle of mentalism. It enables the individual to readily grasp the laws of the mental universe. But watch this. This is the essence of it. And to apply the same to his well-being and advancement. That's when I say Ashe. Come on, man. See, the adapt student it enables, he can apply that intelligence, that intellectual, that great mental law, instead of using them in a hazardous manner. See, with the master key that we possess, my brothers and sisters, the student may unlock the many doors of the mental and the psychic temple of knowledge, which transfers to wisdom, and enter the same freely and intellectually, intelligently. Brothers, this principle explains the true nature of energy, power, matter, and why and how all these are subordinate to mastery of the mind. If somebody telling you can't speak things to existence and make it happen, shame on them. They're on the wrong vibration. One of the old Comedian Adapt Masters wrote long ages ago, brothers and sisters, he who grasps the truth of the mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path to mastery. Follow me. We're going to get on these Kemetic principles because it's all about you. You rather go, you're the alchemy. Has nothing to do with outside yourself, my brothers and sisters. We all have the key. I'm just trying to help you unlock it. I'm just a vessel, and that's it. But with this master key that we all possess in our essence, this mastery is impossible, and the student knocks in vain at the many doors of the temple. So we must be trained and taught and educated the right way, my brothers and sisters. So when I talk about the principle of correspondence, when I speak on the as above, the so below, and vice versa, when I say as below, so above, what are we saying, brother, El Bay? What are we saying when I say that? I love Q&As. That's what I do in my temple. I'm usually answering questions and interpreting the biblical text. So when you say, what are you saying, Brother Bay? This is what I say. The principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. The old Kemetic axiom ran in these words: as above, so below, and as below, so above. See, we letting somebody get us in spookism and pseudo academia and linguistic apartheid that these words are frowned upon. That's an uninitiate. But the grasping of the principle gives one the means of solving many a dark paradox and a hidden secret of nature, brothers and sisters. There are planes beyond our knowing, but when we apply the principle of correspondence to them, we are able to understand much that will otherwise be unknowable. It would be unknowable to many. The principle is of universal application and manifestation. When I say this word must manifest, manifestation on the various planes of the material, the mental, the spiritual universe. It is an universal law. So when you hear me say all law, that's a universal law, my brothers and sisters. I'm not talking about no religion. Religion is man-made. Religion separates us. The ancient Kemetic and Adapt considered the principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from view, which hid the unknown. When a brother don't know something, he diss it. Like a lot of my Moor brothers, they gravitate to Noble Drew Ali, but diss others. I say, man, what about Suleiman Ali? What about Marcus Garvey? What about Frederick Douglass? What about Francis Wilson? What about John Henry Clark? What about Amos Wilson? We don't do that. But its use even tore aside the veil of Aset to the extent that a glimpse of the face of the goddesses might be caught. Just as a knowledge of principles of geometry, it enables man to measure distant suns and their movements, right? 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 I mean, talk to me. I talk back. I want my brothers and sisters to share this. Don't just hold this for you. When you get some teaching, let's share this message. We can share our own. But while seated in his observatory, so a knowledge or knowledgeable person, or that knowledge of the principle of correspondence, what that manifestation does, brothers and sisters, it enables the man, the woman, to the reason intelligently, to stand up straight from the known to the unknown, studying the unity. He, she understands the swift angel. Come on, man, this high science, man. If you don't get chills on your body when you talk about this, man, I love this, man. I could do this all day. This changed me, man. This changed me. It changed my life. It changed how I love. It changed how I teach. It changed how I operate. Nothing coming in this temple. Nothing. The principle of vibration. Woo-wee. Nothing rests. See, when things be going so fast, you think it's going slow. No, when people like, man, that's light years. When a person say, man, brother, babe, you was here, now you there. That's that light speed once you get into your higher self. Once you operate in total 720. Once you operating in that circle. Once you standing on your square. You shedding all the light out, man. But the principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion. Everything vibrates. Nothing is at rest. Facts which modern science endorses and which each new scientific discovery tends to vary. And yet this Kemetic principle was originated thousands of years ago by the masters of the ancient Kemet. This principle explains that the differences between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit, brothers and sisters, result largely from varying rates of vibration. That's why when you see, a lot of times before I do my lectures, I have my mantras going. I'm telling you, man, when I say I pray to the Saraswati, see, it's things we have to do. You let somebody tell you these are frowned upon. I said, brother, you better set the atmosphere. That's a lack of knowledge. That's a lack of wisdom. From the all, which is pure spirit, down to the grossest form of matter, all is in vibration. The higher the vibration, the higher the position in the scale. Ooh. Did you hear me? The higher your vibration, the higher your position on this scale, on this earth plane. Ooh. The vibration of spirit is at such an infinite rate of intensity and rapidity, going so fast that it's practically at rest. Just as a rapidly moving wheel seems to be motionless, and at the other end of the scale, there are a gross forms of matter whose vibrations are so low as to seem at rest. Ashe? Ashe? Come on, man. Speak back to me, man. If you feel me, talk to me. If you following me, somebody say I'm following you. Tell me something. Shoot, you be at the concert screaming. You go to the whack clubs and club hop and say you was talking. Tell me, yeah, I hear you. I speak back. Let me get some libations, man. Let me get some libations. Listen, we ain't in church. I ain't looking at my clock like we gotta hurry up and get out of here. No, we in school. You in detention. But between these poles, there are millions upon millions of varying degrees of vibrations, brothers and sisters. From corpuscles to electrons to atom to molecule to the worlds and the universes, everything is in vibratory motion, consistency. This is also true on the planes of energy and force, brothers and sisters, which are but varying degrees of what? Vibration. I see my mom, she like, Ashe, that's what I'm talking about. Talk to me, I talk back. Share this message, share this word, man. We make everything else go viral. And understanding of this principle with the appropriate formulas enables students the adapts to control their own mental vibration as well as those of others. I know you did you hear me? Let's say this again. Let's say this again. The adapt student, when we learn these sciences, when we master our higher self, we are able to control our own mental vibration as well as those of others. So what I'm saying, as well as those of others, when you're operating totally 720, if you're around people and they don't want to operate on your vibration, which is righteous, you should lead them fools. Because we're not trying to control people to the wrong vibration. We're trying to get you on the beat of the drum. We can be an organized nation. But the masters also apply the principle to the conjuring of natural phenomena in various ways. He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power, or the bosom of power, the scimitar of consciousness. That's the essence of consciousness. Principle of polarity. Now this was kind of, I'm not going to get all the way in that, but I want to highlight them. Everything, all manifest matter is dual. When I say that duality, see this, I love science. See, if they was teaching us like this when we was kids at school, we'd all be scholars. We'd all be teaching each other. We all love who we are. We all love this high science, this 99th primitive right. Have nothing to do with no European pseudo stuff. This all come from us. This is the secret brotherhood of the East. We getting this twisted. We're noble men. We're master craftsmen. Come on, man. Duality, duality, duality. What's above is below. Hot and cold. Do the thermostat go outside itself for hot and cold when you in your house and you say it's hot? What you do, you turn the AC on. When you cold, what you do, you just flip the switch, baby. That's the same thing with you. That's the duality in you. You let somebody tell you something wrong with you. That's the duality. I keep telling you, trying to master your higher self. You want that pendulum to swing the right way. Heaven and hell is within. Heaven and hell is within. Are you happy all the time? No. Are you sad all the time? No. Come on, man. Duality. Everything has poles. Walk with me, man. This science, man. This ain't church. Everything has poles. Everything has its pairs of opposites. And unlike are the same. Unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, in its essence, but different in degree, my brothers and sisters. You have to walk with me. You have to meet me somewhere, brothers and sisters. We just can't keep sitting on the bench and act like this ain't our life, our spirituality, people playing with. We're trying to come higher and higher. Extremes meet. All truth derived from human knowledge are but half truth. All paradoxes may be reconciled. Brothers, we can build this. We can build this. See, this principle embodies the truth that everything manifest is dual. Everything manifest has two poles. Everything manifest has its pair of opposites, all of which were old Kemetic axioms. It explains the old paradoxes that have perplexed so many brothers and sisters. I stated earlier in the thesis and antithesis. Follow me. And I blew a professor mind here. He was like, oh, I don't like your candor. I said, I don't like your candor neither. Because you should know this. See, I told you, I stood in the belly of the beast against all those professors and from their European Greek perspective. And I smashed it all and graduated with honors. But thesis and antithesis are identical in nature, but differ in degree. Opposites are the same, differing only in degree. You better walk with me. You better walk with me, man. If you hear me, somebody say Ashe. The pair of opposites may be reconciled. Extremes meet. Everything is and isn't. And at the same time, all truth derived from human knowledge are half truth. Y'all don't hear me, man. Y'all don't hear me. Everything manifests with the two poles, opposites, aspect, opposites. You want a better illustration? Because I love to give analogies and symbology. Excuse me. Heat and cold, although opposites, are really the same thing. The differences consisting merely of degrees of the same thing. So So now I'm going to get a little bit more technical when I was talking about the thermometer. As you can see this if you can discover where the heat terminates and the cold begins, right? There is no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold. Walk with me. Come on, man. Walk with me. The two terms, heat and cold, simply indicate varying degrees of the same thing. And that same thing, which manifests as heat and cold, is merely a form, variety, and rate of what? Vibrations. Vibrations. I say I go on vibrations. So heat and cold are simply the two poles of that which we call heat. Ooh, come on, man. If you disagree, somebody say I disagree. And prove your point. And the phenomena attendant thereupon are manifestations of the principle of polarity. Right? Let's dig with the next one. The principle of rhythm, baby. What rhythm you on? Why your rhythm all messed up? I keep telling you your diet is more than what you eat. People talk about, oh, my pH balance, I'm drinking alkaline water. I say, man, look, I don't care what type of water you drinking. Because too much of anything is bad. You talk about, oh, it's reverse osmosis. Man, look, I'm telling you. Your diet is more than what you eat and drink. Flat out. Because if your mental messed up, you stressed out anyway. So it don't make a difference. It's all coming out as waste. So the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything manifests. Has its tides. All things rise and fall, brothers and sisters. The pendulum. Didn't you hear me talk about that pendulum? Its swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Why, you may ask, Brother Bay? Because rhythm compensates, my brothers and sisters. Come on, man. Walk with me. Your pendulum should swing the way to the right the same way it swings to the left. That's why when I say I walk correct, with my head straight, with my shoulders up, I'm telling you, man, we operate totally 720. This is your birthright. The principle embodies the truth that in everything there is manifest a measured motion, a to and a fro, a flow and an inflow, a swing, a backward, a forward, a pendulum-like movement. A pendulum-like movement. Come on, man. A tide like ebb and flow. A high tide, a low tide between the two poles which exist in accordance with the principle of polarity described a moment ago when I was just giving it to you. There is always an action and a reaction. Always an action and a reaction. An advance and a retreat. A rising and a sinking. And right now we rising to the top because I'm going to give you all truth and you can stand on it and you can ask questions. And if you don't want to, that's on you. This is in the affairs of the universe, the sun, the worlds, the men, the animals, the mind, the energy, the matter. This is law. This is law. And it manifests in the creation and the destruction of worlds, in the rise and fall of nations, in the life of all things, family, and finally in the mental states of man. And it is with the later that the commeditant adapts find the understanding of the principle. See, the adapts, what we study, we grasp this principle, finding its universal application. And have also, we discover certain means to overcome its effects in ourselves by the use of the appropriate formulas and methods when brothers be saying they're a doctor or they this or they that, and I say, well, where's your tools? How do you build up yourself and break yourself down? But not only yourself, what about your brother? So you want to be the only one? You're not trying to build your brother up, and you can't talk to your brother about this? That's sad. This is what make us royalty and noble men. We are noble men, brothers and sisters. You're not no Negro. Negro is slave chattel. You a Moor. You a Hebrew Israelite. Come on, you ain't no Christian. In the Bible, they weren't Christians. Acts 24:5, they was Nazarenes. They called themselves Nazarenes. Y'all better get this right. Follow some Serapis Christos. Follow Saint Nick. But we apply the mental law of neutralization. We apply the mental law of neutralization. See, we learn how to use it. And that's what my brothers, I want my brothers, all my brothers and my sisters to learn how to use these tools instead of being used by it. The master of Kemet, the sciences of the polarities, what we teach is that this rhythm, this swing of the pendulum, which would tend to carry you, me, to pole to pole. All individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery, we do this to a certain degree, right? More or less unconsciously. But the master, when I say the master, when you 720, but the master, he does this, she does this consciously, consistently, and by the use of his or her will, and attains a degree of poise, of calmness, and mental firmness, and assuredness. See, in our community, we call it cocky. When I'm on camera, they say, man, you sure that's confidence? Because I put the work in. A firmness, a belief on the part of masses who are swung backward and forward like a pendulum. The principle and that of polarity have been closely studied by the Kemetitans. We talked about cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Nothing is done osmosisly. Chance is but a name for law, not recognized. Huh? Come on, man. Chance is but a name for law, not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes law. The principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect from every cause. It explains that everything happens according to the law, that nothing ever merely just happens osmosisly, that there is no such thing as a chance. That while there are various planes of cause and effects, brothers and sisters, the higher dominating the lower planes, still nothing ever entirely escapes the law. We just got to get this right. The Kemetitan adapts understood the art of methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree, and by mentally rising to a higher plane, you become causers instead of effects. You become a causer instead of an effect. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to environment, the wills and the desires of others, stronger than themselves, stronger than yourself. You looking at somebody else and want what and you thinking their will is stronger than your desires? Shame on you. These outward causes moving you back about like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the master that's operating totally 720, rises to to the plane above. He, she dominate their moods, their characters, their qualities and powers, as well as the environment that's surrounding them, and become movers instead of pawns, brothers and sisters. We help to play the game of life instead of being played and moved about by others' wills and environments. See, we use the principle instead of being its tool. That's why I said, where your tools at? See, brothers and sisters, the master obeyed the causation of the higher planes, but they helped to rule on their own plane. We talk about the principle of gender. We almost done. I tell brothers and sisters, some brothers and sisters act like they got ADHD, but I watch a whole series of some crime series. 6 hours straight. I said, man, wow. A brother can't even stay attention for 2 hours or an hour. That's sad. But let's get into this. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principle. When I be showing you my what's above is and below, and when I showed you, I don't even know where my Baphomet book, man, let me see if I can, my Transcendental Magic. If I can find it real fast, I can show you. I don't even know where I got stuff. I got so many books, man, everywhere. If my wife was here, she'd be like, boy, you got a mess. But it's my Transcendental Magic. Hold on, because when I'm talking about something, I hate to not to give it to you, but it came up like that. So, but anyway, my Transcendental Magic book, family, when it's talking about what's above is below, and it has the breast and everything, when we're talking about the Baphomet, it has the male and the female in it. When I say everything is masculine and feminine, when the person say they know who this is, no. A Messiah is a person. We got to get it right. But the principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything. The masculine and feminine principles always at work. This is true not only of the physical plane, but the mental and even the soul plane, brothers and sisters. On the physical plane, the principle manifests as sex, and on the soul plane, it takes the phantom form, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental, or soul, is possible without this principle. An understanding of its laws will throw light on many a subject that has perplexed the mind of men. The principle of gender works ever in the direction of generation, regeneration. Everything and every person contains the two elements of principles, or this great principle within it, him or her. Every male thing has the female element also, and every female contains also the male principle, brothers and sisters. If you would understand the philosophy of mental and spiritual creation, generation, and regeneration, then, brothers and sisters, you must understand and study this Kemetic principle. It contains the solution of many mysteries of life, brothers and sisters. But I caution you that this principle has no reference to the many base and the degrading lustful theories, the teachings, and the practices, which some people teach unfaithfully. So we have to know some things. My brother just hit me like, man, can you give me a little more? I'll give you a little more and I'm done. I'll touch on the... Okay, I got you. I'm going to touch on the Moorish Kaaba of Allah, or the Kabbalah. And these are questions that a lot of when I teach in the temple, about a lot of the adapt students teach. And even when brothers, when they've been under a European masonry, and I say, brother, you only got 32, 33 degrees. That's just a level above freezing. You get that in the temple. We teach that in our temples. It's way more than that. I teach you the 99th primitive rite of Memphis and Mizraim. But a lot of the adapts question is that what does the morning star symbolize? And it symbolized the great God of all law, the YHWH, in man, the as above, so below, and the spirit of a nation, both in moral rectitude and physical achievement. You see? So it's certain things that we just want to know, family. We get out of all spookism and we get into the truth. So I leave you with that text I gave you. When somebody going around saying that, oh, we are Christians, I tell you that's derogatory. The root of that word is Cretan. They did not call themselves Christians. They called themselves Nazarenes. Acts chapter 24 and 5. For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Hebrews, but it says Jews in the King James Version, throughout the world, and the ringleader of the set of the Nazarenes, of the Nazarenes, of the Nazarenes. Just like you're not no Christian, you're not no Negro. You're a Hebrew Israelite. I gave you the journey. Just follow the pages, family. You are a people. Follow the pages. You got to get out of that hate of someone saying who someone else is and get into loving yourself so much that you want to tell your babies, that you want to tell your mother, you want to tell your friends that a lot of our teachers are sincerely wrong. And we're not going to challenge that. Well, I am. I'm going to challenge all that fake doctrine. I don't care if you're a Christian or some Muslim. I'm coming at you with it. Because that's what we're supposed to do. Tell all the truth or nothing but the truth. Half truth is a lie. I love you all. Shalom Alakim. Aya Asha Aya. Ashe. Ashe. I will be what I will to be. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, and wealth. Ashe.